You're wired in. SmallCapVoice.com. Following is a presentation of SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support. Now, with your online business briefing, SmallCapVoice.com's Stuart T. Smith.
Welcome one, welcome all to this online business briefing brought to you by SmallCapVoice.com. And as you just heard, I am your host, Stuart Smith, and we are joined once again today by Terra Corp, ticker symbol TRTC. You may recall we recently hosted a shareholder conference call with the company where they mentioned they will be staying in touch via these audio interviews as well as some of the conferences that they've been attending to keep in closer contact with their shareholders and potential investors out there in the market. So to that end, we are speaking with Derek Peterson once again. Derek, how are you doing today?
Stuart, good. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you here once again, especially on a day when news like this hits the press wire. Just out today, Terra subsidiary IVXX adds 60 new California retailers following new California legislation. Not sure where to start here. That's an incredible amount of new retailers, but that new California legislation is also important. Derek, give us your take.
Both are extremely impactful, obviously, to our expansion of the IVEX brand. I mean, first off, adding 60 retailers in that short amount of time on top of the retailers that we've already added during this last quarter has shaped up this quarter to be significant for us. So we're excited about that. And that has come from the new distribution relationship that we announced in Southern California. And those are just from two smaller markets. The Orange County market and the San Bernardino County markets are not as large as the LA areas and certainly not as large as San Diego and the Bay Area. But as we're ramping up production and ramping up our capabilities, we're again trying to build out in some of the smaller markets. We didn't anticipate Los Angeles to be as significant as it was for us, but we're happy with the market penetration that we've had so far and excited about what Q4 is going to bring. Couple that with the California legislation, Governor Brown finally signed in those three bills, and now we've really got a formal tax and regulating structure here in California. But the most tangible and the most important piece as far as that new law that was signed when it goes into place is the fact that we no longer will have to operate the IVXX subsidiary as a not-for-profit. We're going to actually be able to operate that as a for-profit entity, just like any other normal subsidiary in our company, which we're pretty excited about. We've laid the groundwork with this brand expansion, and now we're going to have the actual chance to monetize that. When we've gotten a head start by building it out in the not-for-profit world, we're now going to be able to monetize that in the for-profit world, which is going to be a big transition for us.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I know when we talked about California, you saw a lot of this on the horizon. Now, when we switch to another state like Nevada, what's going on there? And let's get an update from you.
Yeah, they put out an update not too long ago on Nevada, so we have an updated timetable where the dispensaries will be open, which is early next year, as well as the cultivation. But more importantly, we're striking deals with existing cultivation to make sure that we have enough quality product to stock our shelves with between now and the time when our cultivation facilities open up. So we're glad that things were delayed a little bit because, in hindsight, we would have ended up being open into a market where there isn't much supply out there, and we would have had the overhead and the burn associated with that. So the beauty of waiting now is we're now going to be able to open up in a more defined market. There's more cultivators coming to marketplace right now, so we'll actually have a better supply outlet when our retail facility comes to market. And the beauty of that is it's a whole other transition point for the IVEX brand for us. In Nevada, because they have multi-state reciprocity, you got 39 million people that come in and out of a couple square miles on an annual basis, and all of our dispensaries, the three dispensaries that we have there, are all located within 1 mile of the strip in all directions. So it's great penetration and market saturation for us, and we're excited about that IVEX brand being able to expand there. And because they utilize that multi-state reciprocity, we're now going to get instant brand recognition in every other medical state as cardholders from other states then travel to Nevada and purchase medicine there. They're going to be able to see, feel, and experience the IVEX brand, which gives us, again, greater market penetration and brand appreciation. When we go into new markets, there may be some orientation that already exists there because they may have purchased in that marketplace. So we're very, very excited about the opportunity to open up the Nevada market as well shortly.
Well, finally, let's talk about some of the other states out there. Group them together and tell us about the developments for you and your company in those states.
Well, as I said, our primary focus right now is California, largest market in the country. We want to dominate California as much as possible with not only the IVEX brand, but again, we're focusing on acquisitions as well in the space. Nevada, we've got great market penetration in the entire vertical there. We're really excited about that. We think that's going to be maybe the third largest market in the country because of the multi-state reciprocity. We're building an application out for Maryland right now, and not a gigantic market, but we think it's going to be a significant market, and we're partnering with a group out of Maryland. So that one, I believe, is due November 3rd. We'll keep investors apprised of developments there if we're successful. And other than that, we're just waiting for 2016. 2016 is going to be a pivotal year. We'll see a lot of additional measures out there to decriminalize and legalize to some degree across the country, and the Florida market may open back up for us. So we're going to start looking at those additional markets on a case-by-case basis, but our focus right now and our capital right now and our energy is going into developing California and Nevada primarily.
Well, let's talk about TerraTech as the corporate entity and what it has been doing lately. Talk to us a little bit about the Aegis Capital Growth Conference and some of the other conferences that you guys have been attending.
Well, I mean, if you look where we were a couple of years ago, and I think, Stuart, we've been working together for a couple of years, the company's changed and progressed quite drastically. I mean, we've got a gigantic farming division on the East Coast. We're in 1,800 retailers, some major retailers like Walmart, Kroger's, and Marsh's. We've got 8 permits throughout Nevada, which, again, I think is going to be one of the top markets in the country. We've got great brand distribution for the IVEX brand throughout California, and that market's going to open up even more, not to mention the potential of recreational passing in both those marketplaces. So one of the things that I'm making a focus of doing over the next 12 months is getting out and telling our story. We don't have any significant capital concerns right now. We've got an approved equity line that we're using to fund the company. We have extra capital available to us. We did a nice raise from a private investor that put a couple $1 million in not too long ago. So we've been able to take care of our operations and our build-out. But I want to make sure that people understand who we are, what we're doing, and where we're trying to position ourselves for the future. So I'm going to spend a lot of time over the next 12 months going to some major investment conferences, the top-tier ones, to talk about TerraTech, what our market penetration is, what our go-to-market strategy is, what our focus is, where we're trying to get, and hopefully drive some interest into the company. And that's, again, that kind of a binary focus of the operation of the company. This is something that's very important to us from a messaging standpoint. We want to make sure we focus on that for the company's health and our shareholders' health.
Well, Derek, before I let you go, I do want to talk about a press release, listeners, that came out Wednesday, September 16th. Use that ticker symbol TRTC. OTC Markets Group welcomes TerraTech to the OTCQX. Now, you've been an OTCQB company as long as I've been working for you, which is, like you said, the past couple of years. Talk to the listeners about the differentiation between those two tiers. Go ahead.
Well, the OTCQX is the top tier of the OTC market. We've made a commitment to shareholders that we were going to become more transparent and more accountable as the year goes on. And part of that is positioning ourselves for an uplisting. And, you know, the QX was a natural next step for us on the OTC market, and we still have our eyes on getting onto a different marketplace in the future. And we've got to make some internal changes, which we made a commitment to the shareholders. And we should have that wrapped up here shortly, which was, you know, adopting a code of ethics, which was creating more of an independent board, forming a compensation and an audit committee. And we should see some tangibility to those moves over, like I said, probably the next handful of weeks as we're going through this maturation process of taking the company from the OTC to see it, you know, living on and breathing on another more kind of a defined and established exchange in the future. So this is just part of that process of bringing that level of transparency and accountability that we wanted to bring to the industry, and as well as, you know, TerraTech itself.
Well, listeners, once again, we're speaking with Derek Peterson, Chief Executive Officer of TerraTech. If you'd like to learn more about the company, it is so easy to do so, whether it be through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, of course, the company's website, as well as the new investor relations for the company. You can email them, KCSA Strategic Communications at TRTC at KCSA.com, that website for the company, TerraTechCorp.com. Derek, as always, thank you very much for your time here today.